Hello everyone, welcome to Affairs Cloud. Earlier this year, during the initial stages of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Government of India had established a PM CARES Fund. This fund has come under a lot of controversy lately and has also been met with legal scrutiny from multiple sides. In the recent Supreme Court verdict delivered on the 19th of August, the Supreme Court had rejected the plea asking for the transfer of funds from the PM CARES Fund to the National Disaster Relief Fund, and the court had also stated that the PM CARES Fund shall not be audited by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So in this video, we'll take a look at the PM CARES Fund, the controversy surrounding the fund, and the litigations concerned with this fund in detail. At first, let's start with the basic details about the fund. So PM CARES stands for Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations. So the fund was established on the 28th of March 2020, and the Prime Minister of India shall be the ex officio chairman, and the Minister of Defense, Minister of Home Affairs and Minister of Finance shall be the three official trustees. Additionally, the Prime Minister may also nominate three experts, and these three experts shall be the three additional trustees. The purpose of the fund is for providing for relief efforts against the COVID-19 pandemic's outbreak and similar pandemic-like situations in the future. And the fund has been classified as a public charitable trust. This is a very important point. Later I'll explain to you why. So what this means is that the fund does not receive any direct government funding, either from the state governments or from the union government, but is rather funded through voluntary donations of either individuals or organizations. The fund enables micro donations. What this means is that you can contribute as low as rupees 10 to the fund. This is the minimum amount you can contribute to the fund. Now that we have covered the basic details about the PM CARES Fund, let us attempt to understand the controversy surrounding it. On the 28th of March, the same day the fund was established, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs states that contributions to the PM CARES Fund shall be counted as Corporate Social Responsibility (CSR), reasoning that the fund was set up by the central government. Now, this reason essentially meant that the fund is a public authority. This is because, according to the Right to Information Act, the definition states that institutions established by the government are public authorities. This comes under Section 2H of the Right to Information Act. Here it is given. Public authority means any authority or body or institution of self-governance established or constituted by notification issued or order made by the appropriate government. So according to this, the PM CARES Fund shall be a public authority as of the statement given by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs on the 28th of March. Later, on the 26th of May, the Companies Act that contains the legal provisions for CSR and other related aspects was amended. And the amendment was that the PM CARES Fund was inserted as a separate entity into the Companies Act such that contributions and donations to the fund shall be counted as CSR without any accompanying reason. That is, this reason was essentially not required anymore. And then later on the 29th of May, the Prime Minister's office issues a statement saying that the PM CARES Fund is not a public authority. So this was in contradiction to the previous statement by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now, a fund not being under the public authority also meant that it shall not be under the ambit of the Right to Information Act. So in essence, initially the fund was classified as a public authority, and this was given as the reason contributions to the fund shall be counted as CSR. Later, this provision was amended and contributions to the fund was counted as CSR without any accompanying reason. But then the fund was classified to be a public charitable trust and not a public authority. And this meant that the fund shall not be under the ambit of the RTI, but still contributions to the fund shall count as CSR. So it is this inconsistency in classification that has been the controversial aspect of the fund. As we just noted, the Prime Minister's office issued a statement saying that the PM CARES Fund is not a public authority and hence not under the ambit of the Right to Information Act. Accordingly, much of the information relating to the funds was not disclosed to the public, to the point that the trust deed that established the fund was itself not disclosed, and any circulars or document related to the fund are also not disclosed or covered under the Right to Information Act. In response to a RTA petition to the Cabinet Secretariat, it was revealed that there was no prior discussion or a consultation in the cabinet before establishment of the PM CARES fund. Another controversial aspect of the PM CARES fund is its exemption from CAG auditing. It has been stated that the fund shall not be audited by the Comptroller and Auditor General (CAG) on the grounds that the fund consists of voluntary donations of private individuals and organizations and not public funds. That is, since there is no direct government funding from any state or the union government, the CAG shall not audit the fund. This is the reasoning given. Instead, it has been argued that the trustees of the PM CARES fund shall appoint independent auditors to audit the fund. But the selection and appointment process for these private auditors has not been made public. So it has been claimed that the fund shall not be audited by the CAG, but instead shall be audited by independent auditors appointed by the trustees of the fund. But the catch here is that the appointment and selection process for these private auditors has also not been made public. In order to meet with the mounting criticism, it has been decided that receipts shall be issued for donations to the fund. That is, if you contribute a certain amount, say X, to the fund, you will be given a receipt saying that you have contributed such and such amount to the fund. Another crucial point that we need to note here is that the PM CARES fund has also been made exempt from all provisions of the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, FCRA. Essentially, what this means is that foreign contributions shall also be made to the PM CARES fund without any scrutiny. The reason given behind establishment of the PM CARES fund was that it was a fund set up in order to deal with the emergency situation arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now a question arises here naturally. Why create a separate and a new PM CARES fund while already funds like the NDRF, the National Disaster Relief Fund, and the PMNRF, the Prime Minister's National Relief Fund, already exist? Starting with the PMNRF, it was set up in 1948, right after independence. The original objective of the fund was that it should provide financial assistance to those affected by the partition. Nowadays, it is used to provide immediate relief to the families of those killed in natural calamities and disasters and the victims of major accidents, riots, and etc. An important point here is that as of December 2019, the PMNRF had an unspent balance of Rs 3,800 crores in its corpus. Moving on to the National Disaster Response Fund, it is a statutory fund established under Section 46 of the Disaster Management Act. And the purpose of this fund is also in order for meeting any threatening disaster situation. The National Disaster Response Fund is funded directly by the government as well as it receives grants by private individuals or organizations. Now, since the National Disaster Response Fund is classified as a public authority, it shall be audited by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. As we just noted, the question or the criticism has been that why create a new and a separate account while already funds like the NDRF and the PMNRF exist. But the government side argument has been that the PM CARES fund is a fund dedicated specifically to address the cause of the COVID-19 pandemic. But still, the question remains why unspent balance in accounts like PMNRF has remained unutilized. Multiple state governments have also expressed displeasure at the establishment of the PM CARES fund. Now, since contributions to the PM CARES fund shall be counted as CSR obligation. Now, I'll explain to you what CSR is. CSR stands for Corporate Social Responsibility. It is a law that is applicable to companies that have an annual net profit exceeding a certain amount. So these companies are required to spend 2% of their annual net profit on some charitable cause. This is known as Corporate Social Responsibility. Now, contributions to the PM CARES fund counts as CSR, and along with this, there is also the double benefit of such contributions qualifying for tax deductions under Section 80G of the Income Tax Act. Section 80G of the Income Tax Act allows donations made to specific relief funds and charitable institutions, for example the PM CARES fund, as a deduction from the gross total income before arriving at a taxable income. Now, this double benefit of contributions to the PM CARES fund being counted as CSR as well as getting tax deductions under Section 80G means that much of the private companies would now want to contribute or donate to the PM CARES fund, but contributions to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund and state relief fund shall not be counted as CSR by the Companies Act. So this has been the point of conflict for the state governments. Now this is in spite of the fact that the state governments bear the major burden of implementing COVID-19 relief operations, and hence they bear majority of the financial burden. Hence, Rajasthan state government had dragged the union to court for excluding the Chief Minister's Relief Fund from CSR. Let us look at the case details. So basically, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs had stated that the Chief Minister's Relief Fund or the State Relief Fund is not included in Schedule 7 of the Companies Act, and therefore any contribution to such funds shall not qualify as CSR expenditure. This was what the circular from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs had stated. In response, the Rajasthan government had argued that since COVID-19 is officially declared a disaster and activities related to disaster management and relief is covered under the Schedule 7 of the Companies Act, hence the State Special Relief Fund must be made eligible or counted for CSR. This has been the argument by Rajasthan government, and the government has filed a case under Article 131 of the Indian Constitution against the disputed circular by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. In another case of litigation against the PM CARES Fund, Center for Public Litigation, a non-governmental organization, had filed a petition in the Supreme Court. The petition had requested the transfer of funds from the PM CARES Fund to the National Disaster Relief Fund and had sought the government to implement a new national plan to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. The petition had argued that the PM CARES Fund violated the provisions of the Disaster Management Act. In response to this petition, the verdict given by the Supreme Court bench on the 18th of August 2020 basically rejected the petition and had cleared the PM CARES Fund, and stating that there shall not be any transfer of funds from the PM CARES Fund to the National Disaster Relief Fund. Also, the Supreme Court had stated that since PM CARES is a public charitable trust, there shall not be any CAG auditing. So this verdict given by the Supreme Court of India essentially keeps the main controversial aspects of the PM CARES Fund intact. So the PM CARES Fund is still not under the Right to Information Act. It is still not liable for auditing by the CAG. And at the same time, the contributions and donations to the fund shall still classify as CSR. So much of the controversial points about the PM CARES Fund still remains intact. The bench had also remarked that individuals and corporate houses could still donate to the NDRF and hence does not violate the provisions of the Disaster Management Act, and had remarked that at this hour no exception can be taken to the constitution of a public charitable trust in order to meet the emergent situation. In a recent news available to us at the time of making of this video, it was revealed that there was significant gap in pricing between the ventilators that were procured through the PM CARES Fund. This was revealed to us through an RTI petition filed by an activist, and this petition had also revealed that two firms from whom ventilators were procured did not have technical clearance. What this means is that the technical committee that was constituted under the Directorate General of Health Services had denied or restricted clearance to these two firms for the government to procure ventilators from them. So as we note here, much of the controversy surrounding the PM CARES Fund remains the same. Recently, the Supreme Court of India had also cleared the PM CARES Fund and had stated that since it is a charitable trust, there shall not be any CAG audit. Here also we note that there has been some disparities in pricing from the ventilators that were procured through the PM CARES Fund. Few other litigations are pending, few other litigations have been filed in the court regarding the PM CARES Fund. So it remains to be seen what happens. Hope you liked our video. Please leave your feedback in the form of comments and please remember to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.